Hello guys, how you doing? It's been a long time. I hope you all are doing well and everything is going good. Decided to make a video today about something that's been on my mind. And as you all would know, most of my videos I make of real life discussions, obviously. Discussions I have with friends, and these are of what I base my content on. So without any further ado, what would I be talking about today? I want to talk about what men consider as romance. What men consider as romance. So I'll make it like in bullet points. So 3 to 4 things men consider as romance, right? And these things are not law, right? These things might vary depending on the guy. Not everything is static. These things might vary on the guy. So these are my opinions from experience, from conversations, whatever, from being a male all my life, right? But with that said, these things vary. Things are different for all guys. But for the majority of guys, the way guys think, what I'm about to say, or the things I would list are factual. So what do guys consider as romance or romantic, right? So we know that in dating, women, a woman loves to be courted. Women love romance, right? It could be a list of different things, right? So a woman loves to be courted. Some people will use the word chase. I hate that word. I hate it. But some people use the word chase. Some women love to be taken to dinner, a fancy dinner. They consider that as romantic. Flowers. The guy sending you flowers with a nice handwritten card. All that stuff, all that good stuff, women consider as romantic, right? But I think one thing women forget to take into consideration or neglect is that men too require romance. Men too require romance. As weird to some of you women, you might have never even considered that before, but men too require romance. The man in your life right now that you like or you fancy, or the guy you're dating right now, he loves he would like to be courted as well. Now, when I say courted, I don't mean the same way a woman would want to be courted, right? So for most men, now not all men, because I don't know all men. All guys are different, right? But for most men, when it comes to romance, if you send a man flowers, it's not like a man wouldn't appreciate it, but he might look at it as funny, as weird, like, huh? You get what I mean? As opposed to if you send a woman you're dating or courting flowers, she looks at that as romance. But you send a man flowers, it might be like, oh, this is awkward. What is this? What am I supposed to do with flowers? Amongst other things, you send a handwritten card to a man, he would appreciate it, but he might, man might look at, men are more are tougher, so he might look at it like, okay, so what do men consider as romantic, as romance? to show a man that he's appreciated, or he's or you want to cut your man. You want to, I believe in cutting a man too. If if you fancy a guy, all that stuff whereby let me just sit back, he's the man, he's supposed to do everything, that's your business. You just die in your father's house. So if the man is showing you interest, you show him interest back. That's how I view it. So what do men consider as romance? So I'll list 3 to 4 things, and along the way, if more things come to my mind, I'll let you know. So one first thing is sex. 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 Yes, I said it with my chest. Men consider sex as romance. Now, it depends on how the sex is offered. So what I mean by that is, just because you give a man sex doesn't mean he's going to value you. And I've spoken about that on my channel before, and I'll make another video on that. How men view sex compared to women. Now, not just because you offer a man sex, he would value you, right? But because men, the way we view sex is different. For women, it's more of an emotional thing. Not saying it's like that for all women, but most times it's more emotional for women. A woman takes her time first to give her body to a man. Men can just, anything moving. So the way we view sex is different. But sex can also be used as a tool of romance for a man. It can be used as a way of showing a man that he's how should I put it? His efforts are not in vain, right? So let's say now, as a woman, you don't owe a man sex. You don't owe a man your body. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying most times, if a man is courting a woman, he's taking her out on dates, he's sending her flowers, he's doing all that romantic stuff, right? If at some point he doesn't get anything sexual in return, he feels used. A man is has the likelihood to feel used and unappreciated. Feels like he's the only one giving. So sex is romance to a man, believe it or not. Number 2, being thoughtful. Being thoughtful towards a man, that is also romantic. So what do I mean by being thoughtful? It's taking the man's feelings into consideration. It's taking his wants into consideration. It's the little things, for example, being thoughtful about the little things, right? Maybe, from you lot's conversation, right? He's been mentioning things that he wants. Maybe, okay, I'll give you an example. So there was somebody I was dating, and I play football, right? And there was a time my body was aching. My body was seriously aching. And she and I were speaking on the phone. And I mentioned it to her, just, randomly, that, oh, my body has been aching from football. I didn't think anything of it, right? And she told me about something called Epsom salt, right? So, for people that know Epsom salt, it's it's something you put, you fill your bath up, and you put the salt in there, you stir it and just leave it for a few minutes. Then you go into the bath, and just lay in there for 10-15 minutes. It helps soothe your bones. So she told me about this Epsom salt and stuff, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll get it. And I think it was the next day or 2 days later, I got a knock on my door. I opened my door, and it was a delivery guy. and he delivered a package to me. I was wondering, okay, what's this? I didn't order for, I didn't order for anything. And, I signed, took the package, closed the door. Then I checked, I checked what, what this delivery contained. I opened the pack and I saw a big sack of Epsom salt. That just did something to me. So that's an example of being very thoughtful. She because when I even mentioned that my body was aching, I didn't even think she really took that into consideration, right? So little things like that is romance to a man. That is being romantic. That's how a man perceives thoughtfulness as romantic. That's the number 2. Now, number 3. Sorry, let me have some of my juice. That's number 2. So being thoughtful. So first one is sex. The other one is being thoughtful. Third one is respect. Respect. I know, yes, women view, everybody loves to be respected. Even women view respect as what's it called? As romantic, But men really view respect as an act of romance, when you respect him, when you hold him in high esteem. And that can be by your actions towards him, that can be by your words, the things you say, could be how you talk to him, the tone of voice you used to speak to him, you being submissive, you listening, you not being argumentative, things like that. Men value that, and that can be an act of romance to a man. Yes, respect, because men are very prideful. We are prideful creatures, right? And sometimes we need our ego fed, not in a bad way, but in a good way. Go and blame God. That's how God created us. That's how we were. That's how our settings has been set by default. So you start disrespecting a man, he starts to tweak, he starts to malfunction. So that's another thing men view as romance. What else? Gifts. I'll say gifts. I'll say I know women love gifts, men love gifts too. Now, depending on the guy, this is not law. This is not for every but for everyone. But gifts is an act of being romantic towards a guy, and I know that is vice versa for women as well. And now the gift might not be something extravagant, something overly expensive, but I take it back to what I said about being thoughtful. Be something that the guy has mentioned before, because when you dive into conversations with people, you get a sense of, depending on the question you ask, you get a sense of what they like, what they value, what will make them happy. So it could be gifts in products. It could be gifts in taking him out somewhere. Taking him out somewhere, because most times it's guys that always do the cutting and the taking out and all that stuff. Take him out somewhere, show him you appreciate him. Men view that as romance. That's one way of courting a guy, making him feel appreciated. And when you do these things for a guy, most times if the guy likes you, he would return the favor. Now, if he doesn't like you or value you, then you're on your own. And it's the same way you can do all those things for women. And if she doesn't value you, nothing will come out of it, right? So I don't want any lady watching to start feeling like, yeah, but if you do that for men will disrespect you. It's the same way for you women as well. A man can climb the highest mountain for you and you still not appreciate it. It just is what it is. So all these things, I'm saying you do it for somebody that you feel likes you, or cares for you to a certain degree. or you guys are on the same page, not just for somebody that maybe doesn't value you at all. Your efforts will be useless. And one final thing I'll say is, and this is something I like, is when a woman takes the initiative. When a woman takes the initiative to do things. I know, we live in a culture where when it comes to dating, you expect the man to do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, because you think you're the price, whatever the hell that means. But taking the initiative sometimes it's very attractive and is an act of romance. Or men view that as being romantic when, you're spontaneous and you're just like, hey, so, what are you doing on this day? I have something planned for us. I got 2 tickets, one for me, one for you, for this event, for here, something. You take the initiative, to do things. Men find that romantic. So I hope you watched this video from the beginning to the end. If you did, thank you, I appreciate you. And if you did not, thank you and I appreciate you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, And until next time, peace.